All right, now to our other top story tonight. California Senator Alex Padilla was forcibly removed after shouting a question to Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Secret Service and FBI agents brought Padilla to the ground and cuffed him, but released him shortly after. Noem was holding a news conference on the ongoing ICE arrest in the LA area and the unrest in the streets. She says she met with the senator shortly after she was finished giving her remarks here.
We both had left that room recognizing that if we have civil conversations, that we'll get to better results.
Several of my colleagues have been asking the Department of Homeland Security for more information and more answers on their increasingly extreme immigration enforcement actions. And we've gotten little to no information.
And tonight, several lawmakers are calling on Senate Majority Leader John Thune and House Speaker Mike Johnson to respond to the senator's detainment. In response, House Speaker Johnson admonished Padilla, calling the senator's behavior, quote, wildly inappropriate. And tonight, Sacramento area lawmakers are reacting to Senator Padilla's takedown in Los Angeles today.
Fox 40's Riley Carroll joining us live in the studio after speaking with a Republican and a Democrat about how they feel, Riley, about that situation.
Well, Eric and Nikki, Democratic Congressman Ami Bera says what happened is bad, and he doesn't think it should have ever gone that way. California Republican Assemblymember Joe Patterson also agrees what happened was hard to watch, but says Padilla should have never bursted into this press conference.
That isn't the country that we live in. You can't do that. If it can happen to a sitting United States senator, it can happen to any American.
Congressman Ami Bera reacting to Democratic Senator Alex Padilla being escorted out of a press conference today and detained.
Once he's outside the office, he is not a threat to anyone. And in fact, he is complying with the officers at that point. And to forcibly push him to the ground and handcuff him, that was entirely unnecessary.
In response to DHS saying the senator didn't identify himself and the Secret Service didn't know who he was, Congressman Bera says,
don't try to lie about this. Senator Padilla has an office in that building. It's a federal building. My understanding is that he actually was led to the press conference by security, National Guards, others.
Republican Assemblymember Joe Patterson says the ordeal was unfortunate, but not totally unexpected given the senator's actions.
I don't love the fact that he was handcuffed, but also, you know, those were law enforcement officials, and I also trust their judgment. So, you know, the whole situation was just extremely unfortunate.
Assemblymember Patterson also says he thinks Padilla going in there in the first place and speaking over the secretary was intentional.
That was a plan to go in there and disrupt. Obviously, this is a very emotional issue for him, but I think that was definitely, you know, political maneuver to go in there and disrupt for sure.
Patterson also says he thinks what happened to Padilla would happen to him if he did the same thing.
I don't think I have a right personally to barge into, you know, the governor's press conferences and push his security detail out of the way in order to ask whatever question I want to, even given my position. So, yeah, I do think I would be forced out of the room.
Now, in response to the larger issues in Los Angeles, Congressman Bera says what's happening is divisive, and he thinks the Marines and National Guard being in the city is unnecessary and illegal. Assemblymember Patterson says he fully believes violent criminals who are not citizens need to be deported, but is hopeful someone gets to the bottom of who is actually being deported in Los Angeles, as he says he's hearing conflicting stories of who ICE is targeting. Nikki, back to you.
Riley, thank you. And earlier this afternoon, several Democratic members of the state assembly and Senate also held a press conference on the steps of the state capitol to show solidarity with Senator Padilla.
To have a democratically elected U.S. senator attacked in this way is completely unacceptable, and we will not stand for it and allow Donald Trump and his goons to go after our communities.
He was trying to ask a simple question on behalf of his constituents, and it was thrown to the ground and arrested and detained. Is unconscionable. That's right. What the hell is happening in our country right now?
And aside from Assemblymember Patterson, who you heard from earlier in Riley's story, Republicans in the legislature have not commented on the situation involving Senator Padilla.
And some